the second half of that game, I think it was right after technical foul had been called, you had your starters kind of over by you on the sideline. And I was reading your lips. I think you said something like, "You guys talk about it," and then you walked away.
Yeah.
As a coaching staff, what does it mean to you to have a team and guys that you can kind of let them problem solve some of their own stuff?
Yeah, we started this. This summer, and I think it was partly the squad. It was partly Cody. I think it was Cody that was really pushing this. Where coaches were not very smart, and so we all sit around and complain about exactly the same stuff all the time. Every coach in the world complains about the same things with their team, and a lot of times we just sit there and complain. Like we complain that we don't have any leadership on our team, but what are we doing to grow leaders? Like what exactly are you doing to grow a leader, and to teach a leader, and to empower a leader, and to instruct them what to do? And one of the things that we had been frustrated about the last couple of years was just communication on the floor. Our guys just, you hear a lot of coaches talk and say if our guys could have their phones on the court, they would communicate way better, right? And so we're like, what are we doing complaining about? It should be the most important. If it's that important, it should be a really important part of practice. So you guys have seen us in practice where we'll finish a drill, the guys will huddle up, and the coaches aren't allowed to say anything. And so we started kind of doing that this summer with the Formator, and we have smart guys, we have high IQ guys, and just them getting in the practice of them communicating. And so, when I actually do that in the huddle now too, when we're sitting down in a timeout, 2 or 3 times. Those shades are fire, by the way. The glasses are very cool. I like that. I'll spend time asking the guys kind of what their individually what their focus is, and then our guys' huddles just with the players is probably more important than our huddles with the staff, because the communication is happening on the floor and their thinking is happening on the floor. And what's super interesting, and this is not what you asked, but I think it's fascinating to me, is what I've noticed as we got along. A lot of times when we'll kind of be going through instruction in a timeout, and then it'll be in a big moment, kind of where all this stuff is happening. I'll point to one of the guys, but what are you focused? What is your number one focus right now? And a lot of times you'll see your players, I just think this is fascinating, almost shake their heads visibly, where they're like, I actually don't know what I got so many thoughts going through my mind about the fans and what I just did and what I want to do and how it's going to be. And so them talking is way more powerful than me talking. Because now they're actually, instead of because the input they're taking in from me is just like the input they're taking from the refs and the fans and the opponent and everything else. But they kind of speak things into existence. I think that's more powerful. And so for all those reasons, it's a real gift to have a group that has, it's been a part of their team training to communicate with each other, because what they say is way more real than what I say to them. I dig it, actually, and it's new for me. But I like it, and I like the feel, and I like how our guys have bought into it, and it's pretty cool. It's really comforting. It's comforting too. Is like we say what we have to say, and then they go digest it and verbalize it how they say it, and hopefully it'll continue working.
What is you guys' team that's made them so resilient, or responding quickly after maybe a difficult loss and bouncing back in this league? What have they done this year that's kind of caused that?
I think our teams have always been pretty good at responding here. I do. You guys know we're going over this so different the last 2 years. Like we're managing everything so different. I think that. Going into the season, we kind of had a very good sense of what this league was going to be, and talked about in the summer the importance of us not riding too high or too low. We've talked a lot as a team, as a group, as an organization about that. Some of the, maybe the biggest challenge of this league is being able to come fresh every day, because it just wants to rip you to shreds, right? Whether it's losses or the competition level or anything, it just wants to tear you down so you can't go into the next game fresh. And these guys have really embraced that. I think they're really focused on hey, whatever happened on what is today, Thursday? Whatever happened on Tuesday, it doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters is us coming into this game fresh. Just like on Monday, we're saying whatever happened on Saturday doesn't matter. Our whole focus has to be coming into this game fresh, so we put the best product we can on the floor, and I think they've embraced that. And, it's been fun. It's a fun group.
With you guys having played Kansas State 2 weeks ago, basically, how does that change your preparation, if at all, and do you expect the same sort of game?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, because one, you're familiar, right? But two, you're not familiar on the road. And so on the sense that you're familiar is really positive, because everyone's got a basic sense of some of the action and some of the cadence of the game and some of the personal strengths and weaknesses of the scout. But then teams tend to, in this league, certainly, home court advantage has been so strong, so you don't want to take anything for granted either, that you I know this guy, how he plays, because as a team, everybody in this league performs at a different level at home than they do on the road. And so it's nice because you already have a cheat sheet of education. You just don't want to rely on it too much, because it'll feel different, certainly, there.
Are you changing up the travel schedule for this Saturday, Tuesday road? So are you coming back to Salt or Provo after this one?
Yeah, we're coming back, and we actually talked to the team about it. Originally, we had scheduled to stay out, but after West Virginia, Oklahoma, and then really digging into the details of this, the guys felt like we should come. They wanted to come home. One was because of Spence's situation. Two was because it's a noon game, so the guys will be home 7 o'clock on Saturday night, and be able to have an evening and sleep in their own beds, and then all day Sunday, and again full night Sunday. So yeah, I think if it was a later game, I think if it was a 7 o'clock game, we wouldn't come home, but because it's a noon game, we're going to come.
How important is this road trip, going to Kansas State and then Kansas after coming off the big win against Baylor?
Yeah.
This last road trip of the Big 12 season.
Yeah, it's super fun, isn't it? Because as if every game couldn't have got more epic. When you come down to the stretch of the season, just like every game is so massive, and it's I don't know, I love it. We get to go play Kansas State, which I talked to you guys about the first time we played them, is instilled as me as a mecca of college basketball because of my mentor, Coach Fox. So it just has that juice to it, and then we get to go to Fog Allen, and after playing Baylor, and come on, it's big, it's all big, and that's why we're here, and it's super fun.
Is there any satisfaction for you and the guys on the team when the numbers before the season? Hey, BYU's going to be here, and now you guys are tied for 6 in the shot, even potentially how the rest of the season goes to be a top 4 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, I think we're trying not to spend too much time there, because this league is so competitive that everything turns on a game also, right? And so again, one of the things I was really, really proud about in this Baylor game was, and I think we might have talked about this in post game, was there were several incidences during the course of the game that could have got us really distracted. The technical on the bench, the flagrant foul, a couple of miscues, the ebb and flow of the game. But I felt like, even in points where I felt like my staff got overly emotionally invested, were distracted by the emotion of the game, even in those moments, I felt like my guys were dialed in. It was actually really cool. I was super proud of that, and so let's hope that that's a space that we're going to continue to grow in. And so as big as this Kansas State game is, and as big as the Kansas game is, and the TCU game, and everyone will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. As big as it is, I hope that we're in a space where we're that's all what it is. But the only thing that's going to affect winning and losing is we really focus on just the moment.
Is there a chance that Spencer might not be able to, with his wife going into labor today, not going tomorrow? Or is it too early to tell?
I we'll see. I hate to say something and then have it be wrong, because that happens way too often. But it's this incredibly exciting time right now for Spence, and it's almost unbelievable. He's been on FaceTime with everybody on the team and multiple times last night and today, and it's almost incomprehensible. Think about it. Baylor Tuesday, firstborn son Thursday, Kansas State Saturday, Kansas Tuesday. Like, could you have a better life, right? So it's pretty exciting.
What are some of the kind of cliff notes of K-State from your vantage point, and Kansas too? Because
Yeah.
for the next two games.
Yeah, so Kansas State is just incredibly dangerous, and they've had it's funny because you can play great basketball in this league. You can play great basketball in this league and lose, and they have three of probably the most talented scorers in the league, and that's not an overstatement. And then, go figure, the fourth guy, the kind of forgotten guy, ran off 8 straight points to start the game against us here, right? And so they're super talented. They have unbelievable rim protection. They had 6 blocks here in our gym against us. They have unbelievable rim protection. They play at a great pace. Like I said, they have 3-4 guys on the team that can go get their own shot whenever they want them. And with all that said, incredibly, they're number 1 or 2 or 3 defensive team in this league right now, and they have done an incredible job guarding the 3. They're great guarding in transition. Obviously, they're great protecting the rim. So they're a good team, and they're much better at home, like every team in this league. And so we got our hands full there. This Kansas team is Kansas. I mean, Kansas, Fog Allen, probably. We've been saying the same thing for the last 40 years, right? They're unbelievable, and they're big and physical and powerful and skilled, and a great environment. You guys all going? Are you guys all going?
Yeah.
Go
Good.
to Kansas.
Good. I'm so glad. You guys been before?
Been just
For
inside.
football.
Are you going?
No.
Why?
It's a long story,
All
Mark.
right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
When you were recruiting Dallin,
Yeah.
did you envision him being the point guard that he is right now with all this on his shoulders and handling the ball like 80% of the time and all that?
Yeah. Yes. I did. I didn't know that he would have to carry all this load this early. But Dallin was a pretty easy scout. He was a pretty easy eval. I'll never forget seeing him, and I can't remember where. Maybe it was a gym in Vegas or somewhere. But like they were separate. The courts were separated by they dropped down the drapes, and there were see-through drapes, and he's playing against maybe it was Compton Magic or somebody that was pressing the whole game, and he just was like quick, easy play every single time, and you're just like, this dude's vision is incredible, and so he is growing into exactly that, where he just is, you think about playing the number 11 team in the country in a really, really emotionally charged end of the season, Big 12 contest, and he's a 7-1. That's incredible as a sophomore. That's just amazing. And so we're trying to find ways to buy him a few minutes here and take the ball out of his hands. Ollie's been, of course, we talked about that. But yeah, I think I'm not surprised with where he is right now as an elite point guard, and I'm actually have a very clear vision of what he's becoming. It's pretty spectacular, and so his road ahead is going to be really exciting.
Two more questions.
How much, I want to go back with Kansas and Bill Self, his, in like the coaches meeting, because he seems to have the biggest mic in this league with among the coaches. Like, what's his kind of embrace of the new programs like yourself in this league, and just maybe your interactions with Self and kind of what he is in college hoops?
Yeah, I think he's clearly he's been unbelievable for this league. And he is, it's interesting when we're on a call and we're dealing with issues, like he's the first one to speak up, and he's clearly spent a ton of time thinking through the periphery issues, meaning, some vague possibility with rules change, and he'll come into the conversation with with 4 different things that need to be considered, and he's clearly set the benchmark here. I don't know what, his numbers are just, he wins every single year. He wins the league conference championship, right? And so, it's, you look down through this league and the coaches are just incredible. And certainly he's he is, one of the best coaches, most successful coaches in the history of college basketball. And he's right here still doing it. It's pretty great.
Last question. When you talk about life in the Big 12, it seems like you found a place where you not only celebrate winning as much as ever, but you can chalk up losses to like iron sharpens iron. This is going to make us better.
Yeah.
Why have they been the right group for this venture? I mean, whether it's maturity, togetherness, I mean, they seem to be the perfect group for this adventure.
Well, our DNA here at BYU, I think some of the filters that go into being here at BYU have certainly helped us with that. And then these guys being together for kind of their second year, is the vast majority of these guys being together has been really important for us. They're trying to figure out each other in this new space, but they already know each other in most of the spaces, right? And that, we felt like going in that was going to be vitally important for us to be able to survive this first go through this season, and we're hoping that it will. That'll be the thing that helps us survive. And so we have inherently we have guys that, and this is a little bit of a rarity in humanity right now, but we have a locker room full of guys that have an understanding that there's something bigger than themselves in some form or fashion, and that also is a real foundation of just trying to survive this gauntlet, right? And so our DNA is pretty good. The guys' familiarity with each other, that they've been to war with each other over the course of time. Those two things have been really important.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys being here. We're on the Spencer Johnson watch. I'm hoping to get him and Izzy and little Mark Jr. On the coach's show tonight. So we'll see.
You ever been in Fog Alley?